Greetings, all! Today, we will be examining the relatively uncommon Dark-type Pokemon Poochyena and its uncommon evolution Mightyena, collectively known as the Bite Pokémon. While they might not always prove to be the most versatile or dangerous of fighters, the members of the Poochyena family are vicious canines that can more than make themselves into a threat worth taking note in a battle. Poochyena have small canine bodies covered in gray fur with black fur on their three-toed feet, belly, and face region. Their pointed ears have a black interior and complement their red nose and red eyes with yellow sclera, with a long tail on their back end and large, powerful fangs that stick out strongly away from the rest of their jaw. Their evolved form, Mightyena, have a similar build, though with a much larger form and legs, with a pelt of black fur extending across the entirety of their back as it comes to a pair of crest-like markings on the top of their head and forehead, with some slight cheek markings as well. Their ears are much larger and have an abnormal fold to them, while the razor-sharp claws stick out proudly from their feet, and their nose has turned black, their teeth returning to more normal proportions for a canine, though the entirety of their jaw is now filled with razor-sharp teeth. The members of the Poochyena family share much in common with wild dogs of the non-Pokemon variety, and thus tend to exhibit pretty predictable mannerisms that can make them easy to care for and rise at a young age, but a pain to try and do as an adult. These beasts are noted for the unusually large fangs they possess as infants, and while evolution will eventually allow the rest of their form to grow into them, they still pose a threat to small Pokemon. Interestingly though, these creatures do not initially possess the jaw strength needed to properly use their mouth to attack directly, so they are born with access to the tackle attack instead for offense, and will go quite some time as young Poochyena before they are able to actually learn the bite attack. Even so, they get this species title for a reason, as once they do have access to the attack, it becomes a go-to move for offense, and is the one move they will rely on the most to deal damage until they manage to evolve. This reliance on their teeth can make them easy to ward off though, if their attacks can be predicted, so this can work to their detriment in the right circumstances. They also tend to be a bit skittish at a young age if they are attacked or confronted viciously, so they are known to turn tail and run away if they need to in order to survive, so they at least can show some intelligence with timidity when alone or still unevolved. This all translates into their abilities though, as while both of the Pokemon in this family can have access to the Quick Feet ability as a base ability and a symbol of their deceptive agility, Poochyena also have access to Run Away as a base ability and Rattled as a hidden ability if they are especially easy to spook, while Mightyena instead use their frightening forms and penchant for attacking relentlessly and with extreme gusto in the possession of the Intimidate as a base ability and Moxie as a hidden ability. As far as the stats are concerned, in the case of Mightyena, it must sadly be said that, despite their fierce form and attributes, these creatures underperform as a whole compared to most other fully evolved Dark-type Pokemon, and do not have any base stats that are above average for a fully evolved Pokemon of their type. Even so, they are still vicious creatures that can make life difficult for novice trainers, and definitely put their intimidation skills to good use if pressed to in a fight. At a young age, Poochyena are incredibly tenacious little creatures and will gladly chase down anything that looks like food to them, running and pursuing them to the ends of the earth if they must to get what they need. But they do not necessarily have to do this to get food, as they are omnivorous. If they are faced with a prey that does not wish to fight back, then they are usually good to go. But the moment that something they are pursuing decides to fight back and attacks them, Poochyena will not take the risk of being hurt and will run away, as the small bodies are quite frail and not built to be able to handle serious combat very well. This does not take away all that much from them though, as these little beasts will bite anything that moves too close to them and will not relent until the opponent or prey becomes completely exhausted. And if needed, they will bristle the hair on their fluffy tail outwards in order to intimidate other small Pokemon to the best of their ability, burying their fangs to add to the effect. Their acute sense of smell means that they very rarely ever lose track of those they are pursuing, so it can be very difficult to shake them unless offensive force is used to directly fend them off. Poochyena can be a slight handful to take care of in some cases, but they are usually easy to train at a young age, and thus can make good pets for young children and novice trainers, so long as they give them plenty of time to grow and develop their relationship with their human companion before evolution. Compared to the somewhat skittish pre-evolution, Mightyena are nothing but pure vicious rage as a result of a chemical imbalance in their brains, and show a much greater tenacity in battle as a result. At the surface, at a combat level, these creatures are known to use extreme intimidation in order to scare other Pokemon, and can do this quite well by infusing anti-positive energy into the howls and barks, allowing them to learn the rare Snarl attack as soon as they evolve, and are such good hunters and thieves that they can also get access to the Thief attack with a bit of artificial help, not to mention many different elemental fang attacks. However, even with this versatility on their side, these creatures are quite predictable and can be easy to see their attacks coming, as they will almost always flatten their backs and growl viciously as they prepare for an attack, before suddenly lunging out and viciously biting their target. This attack style can make their attacks quite predictable and easy to dodge, but it is a much harder affair when they are in packs, which they tend to travel in when in the wild. These beasts are always led by the alpha and omega of the group, but there is no differentiation between males and females in this role, and they will lead the pack until they become too old and weak to do so effectively anymore, at which point they will be killed in battle or otherwise forced out of the pack's lead position by a contender. These beasts are intelligent enough to be able to coordinate their attacks as a pack quite effectively, making up for their weaker power by attacking others relentlessly with the numbers game on their side, and it can be extremely difficult to overcome them when they are attacking in this sort of formation. Sadly, this sort of mentality is ingrained in the very DNA of the species, and it can be hard then to train them, as they will only obey experienced trainers that have proven themselves to be worthy of using their power. This can make it extremely difficult to use these creatures if captured straight from the wild, making it more likely to see trainers raise one from a Poochyena than try the daunting task of raising one from the wild after evolution. Although they might not be among the strongest and most useful of canine Pokemon to work with, the members of the Poochyena family are still vicious creatures that can definitely make something of themselves if given the right training. It may be a pain to do so if not raised from infancy, but at the very least, they can make for some decent fighters if given the chance. Just make sure that you constantly assert that you are the boss and you will be fine. Otherwise, they might take you for a weak trainer and prove to be just as much of a menace to you as they can be to other Pokemon that dare to get in their way. Thank you all for watching this video. It is always an honor to be able to speak with you all on the subject of Pokemon in a way that brings me great joy and happiness in my work. If you would like to keep tabs on past and future work, click that subscribe button, check out my work on DeviantArt, and don't be shy about following me on Twitter, where you can find pertinent announcements on upcoming work before it is officially posted. Links to both can be found in the video description. If you would like to support my work and help Miguel and I continue to produce more content for you and improve upon our presentation, please visit us at my Patreon page, which you can also find a link to in the video description. With that, I thank you for watching and I wish you well.